Bang. Live.
It's off the tracks. Jet, it's Rafe. We're back. Little live stream action today. If you missed us last night, hold on a minute. If you missed us last night, we were doing a little recap of the games last night. It was a good time. If you missed us last night, you can catch us tonight after the Timberwolves game. As you can see here, I think it's on my left, maybe. Is it on my left or right?
Yeah, it's your left.
Draft odds.
Right of the screen.
We've got a big night tonight for some teams. Fortunately, neither of our teams are in this list.
For now.
But
for now.
I want to kind of talk here because we've got a T-minus about 9 minutes until this gets going here. We talked a little bit about this last night. Of all of these teams that are listed here thus far, who deserves this number one pick? Who deserves to win the Cooper Flag sweep?
I mean, as we kind of discussed already, I think it's the top two teams, Utah and Washington. Outside of that, there's some fun ones towards the bottom. I know this may not be a popular pick, but another favorite son in Chicago, maybe. They're a long shot. Who knows? We'll see. I think that's pretty interesting to look at. There's definitely some funny storylines in here. There's some teams that we don't want to see win this. But I think Utah and Washington at the top, who have two of the three best odds here. I think those are the two teams on the top of my list to a team that needs them, and I think will do well with him.
I think another team, I was kind of thinking about this when I was just looking at them. Would it be kind of cool if Brooklyn got this? I mean, where would your mind be at? They've got a 9% chance of landing the number one overall pick. We've seen some things that maybe I was reading this morning that they are willing to give up a lot for a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. What if you could pair in a really weird world Giannis Antetokounmpo and Cooper Flag?
Well, that's a whole nother thing that there's who knows what kind of dominoes are going to fall after we finally find out what this draft order is going to be. Giannis probably being the biggest one at the moment. Kevin Durant, a guy that could potentially be someone probably is on the move this offseason. So there's a lot of intriguing. And speaking of Kevin Durant, Phoenix also has a chance at the number one pick. If they get it, maybe KD says, you know what, let's stick around a little. So a lot of dominoes here. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's an exciting time for a lot of these teams.
Be back in just a second.
Sure thing. Anybody out there watching right now, I don't know how many people are watching, but if there's anybody here and they want to chime in who they would like to see win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, which teams they don't want to see win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes.
All right. We're back. Yeah, I think a lot of dominoes with that. And you look at a guy like Giannis. Does this at all tonight maybe affect where Giannis lands? If you see a team like Brooklyn land somehow a top 3 pick, Milwaukee, a team that needs draft picks in the worst way, this doesn't obviously have to be just Brooklyn, but could you see this affect not even just Giannis, but like you said, Kevin Durant? Could any of these picks here, what team do you think would be best suited to move, say, a top 3 to 5 pick in a blockbuster trade?
I think Phoenix is one where they're probably more likely to move off of KD if they get a decent pick here. I think Houston intrigues me. I can't remember whose pick they have and where they get it. I'll have to look at that in a minute. But Houston's a team that's been heavily rumored of getting Kevin Durant, so maybe whatever pick if they end up with one here in the lottery, that could be on the move potentially to Phoenix. So maybe Phoenix ends up with 2 high draft picks here after this. So
Houston's pick is via Phoenix.
Oh, okay. So never mind. So yeah, so I mean, could you imagine? So then, okay, here we go. So then, if Houston or if Phoenix ends up with number one, Houston gets the pick. Now, maybe they don't want Kevin Durant anymore. So now maybe that's a team off the list. So, like I said, just so many different storylines that can weave in and out of this lottery and how teams fall. So it'll be interesting to see.
I'd be really interested to see Houston. Not saying that I want this to happen at all, but you look at the season Houston had this past year. They were the number 3 overall seed, or number 2 overall seed, excuse me. Obviously a letdown losing to Golden State in round 1. Talking about, people were discussing this Jalen Green scenario. Does he get traded? Are they going to move him? Doesn't feel like that's what's going to happen here. Maybe if you can get up there into the 3 hole, into the 4 hole, and you can have a pretty high draft pick to pair on that already young roster and talented roster that, again, was the number 2 overall seed. I think you have some very interesting ways that Houston could move through that. Another thing I want to talk about here, and we'll talk about this later on throughout the night, but San Antonio. We've talked about them a little bit of getting the number 1 pick, but is there a world where maybe San Antonio, they're going to have 2 lottery picks tonight regardless. Is there a world where maybe they move both of those picks to move up in the draft? I'm not saying they could move up to number 1.
Right.
It's definitely on the cards. If you get maybe pick, say, 5 and 12, for example, can they move both of those to maybe move up to 2 and draft a player like Dylan Harper?
I mean, absolutely. There's a chance, I think a Dylan Harper's interesting and Ace Bailey's a little bit interesting. I think a Con Kneppel fits in with that San Antonio roster pretty well, depending on, where teams have him graded and where San Antonio might think he can go. But yeah, there's a lot of options open for San Antonio. 1, because of the 2 picks, but 2, because their roster is so good, they could probably zero in on one guy that they really feel like will fit in with them and make them even that much better. Maybe they don't have to move up to do that, but if there is a guy, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them be aggressive on draft night.
I think that, I was kind of looking at the draft picks here moving forward, but if a team like maybe New Orleans gets that number 1 overall pick, who they don't really have a ton of draft capital moving forward, I think they've got a number 1 pick this year. They've got Indiana's pick next year, Milwaukee's first round pick next year, and the year after that. I think you're kind of looking at maybe a scenario where do they want to, maybe they want to fall back a little bit. I understand you can't really pass on Cooper Flagg.
Right.
I mean, that gets general managers fired. But is there a world where maybe San Antonio could take advantage of a team that, say, doesn't have as much draft capital moving forward and move up to number 1?
I don't know about number 1. I think anybody who gets number 1 is sticking and taking Flagg, but 2 or number 3 or number 4 maybe. I think it's a pretty deep draft and there's some very good guys at the top of this draft. So I think it will take a lot to jump into the top 3, maybe 4, depending on where you are originally. But I don't see anybody that's really gonna even if you're already a good team. I don't think anybody's. Once you get that number 1 pick, it's going to. Let's try to think about this. What would it take for you to hop off of that number 1 pick? I feel like it'd have to be, so much, like entirely way too much, probably for the other team to even give up.
I mean, if you look at the Spurs, give up your first 2 your lottery picks that you've got this year, you're probably going to have to give up a piece. You're definitely going to have to probably give up a guy like Cameron Johnson. You're definitely going to probably have to give up, arguably rookie of the year, Stephon Castle, even. That's definitely in the cards. And even that doesn't feel like enough. You're going to have to give up first-round picks next year, the year after that, second-round picks, everything you've got on the roster. But when you have an opportunity for San Antonio, who I think they've got a really, really good young core, do you just say how that this is a generational player? We got our generational player a couple years ago We can go and pair Cooper Flag with him where he can be a true four, and we can have a true center in Victor Wembanyama. We can deal with the rest of this later. But I mean, they would have the two cornerstone pieces of their franchise. I think San Antonio is a team that maybe it doesn't matter how much they have to give up. I don't know how many teams are really in that position right now, but I think if anyone is, it's probably the Spurs.
Yeah, I think I mean, it may be something that they kick around, but whoever gets the number one pick, the GM has to be asking for so much to the point where San Antonio probably looks at it and is like, you know what? We're very good. I'll say that they don't need a Cooper Flag to build out the rest of the roster to be like a legit contender in the next few years. It's not something to where, you know, they give up that. Now they're probably going to have more holes to fill. Yeah, you've got Victor and Cooper Flag, and that's a pretty good start. But, you know, you'll have more holes to fill. Not saying that they won't be able to do it, but especially depending on how much draft capital you give up, that makes it even harder to fill those holes. But the Spurs have set themselves up pretty well, especially with how well they've drafted the past couple of years. I just think as long as the GM who has that one spot is smart, it's just going to be too much to even consider.
Imagine a lineup, though, where you could have Cooper, Hector, Wembanyama. Maybe you still have De'Aaron Fox. If not, you can plug Stephon Castle in there. Devin Vassell. I mean, I really do think that. So would you think that if they stick and pick and they use both of their lottery picks and they add 2 lottery players to this roster, I mean, I feel like that almost makes them better than if they would use both of those picks to trade up to, say, pick 3 and take whoever they feel is the best available there.
Yeah, potentially. It just depends on who those players are, obviously, and who they go up and get. Like I said, I think they're so close that whether it's 1 or 2 players, as long as they hit this pick, they're going to be much better already, especially with a full year of Victor back. Hopefully he's back and is able to play the whole year. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting ways they can go about this. I'm trying to think, you know, maybe because you add a guy, depending on where they are, you know, maybe you move on from a Jeremy Sohan, maybe, possibly. He's a decent player, but, you know, could be a guy that's on the move if they find a better fit in the draft. I don't know. So I'm not sure. You know, we'll see how they play it out, but yeah.
Well, we've got a little over 14 minutes until the lottery's revealed. We talked about this last night. I want to watch this unfold. I do.
Right.
I want to see. I want to see everything be drawn. I want to see it go from pick 14 to pick 1. I want to know where everyone's at here in this. So the reveal. Are they going to be revealing this all at once here, or are they going to reveal this pick by pick?
Usually what they'll do is they'll come out and then they'll go through the first, I don't know, however many picks until they get to the top 3, and then they'll go to commercial, then they'll come back and do the top 3. So we should have known. We should have known that being the NBA, the show started at 6. Right. They weren't going to reveal until 6:15. We should have known that. Should have researched that one.
But you know what? Here we are. We got to hang out with our friends a little bit. Nolan says Giannis is leaving Bucks. The Bucks trade up. So, I mean, what kind of value does Giannis have? I mean,
I think he still holds a lot. I do think he still holds a lot.
I agree.
So, you know, that is an interesting thing to think about too. Now, it depends on how the front office wants to play it. You know, if they're going to allow Giannis to look for a trade and look for a team that he wants to go to, chances are, outside of a couple, chances are the teams that they want to trade up with aren't exactly destinations that Giannis wants to go to.
That's it's where I'm at. Unless it's, I mean, realistically, unless it's a team like Brooklyn, I can't imagine he'd want to go anywhere other than there. Maybe you could get him to San Antonio. I don't know if San Antonio could afford that. Philadelphia, I don't think that is a destination really for him. Saw today he wants to go to a state with no income tax. What if Dallas? What if Dallas gets the number 1 pick and they end up with Giannis Antetokounmpo? I mean, what?
Yeah, that's
Was Nico
well, yeah,
Harrison
that's
15 steps ahead of us this
maybe
whole entire time?
we would. Yeah, he's been clowned so hard. It's almost like the universe would have his back. But I don't know. I don't know. You make a move like that. I don't know if you deserve the universe to have your back.
Kind of agree, and you know, I hate to keep harping on that, but there had to have been something else going on.
It's
Don't know about.
and the yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I have so many thoughts on that, but
Well, that's for
yeah,
another
that's
day. I'm really so you I mean you've got a little. I don't have any skin in this tonight. I don't have any. I just don't. I hope Cooper Flag does not go to an Eastern Conference team. But
sure,
if he does at the end of the day, I don't really feel like it's the end of the world. You, on the other hand, I hate to get into phantoms here, but the logo is plastered right behind you.
of course.
A
Yeah.
Thunder fan, you're hoping Sixers do not get a top 6 pick here. I mean,
I'm
how
hoping
are you
for
feeling right now?
7, 8, or 9. It's decent odds. It's decent odds for them to end up in that 7 or 8 or 9 spot. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see what the Thunder do because their entire roster is under contract, so they don't have any roster spots heading into next year. So, you know, it could be a situation where they package the picks and trade for more picks in the future, which I think they'll do with a couple, maybe not all of them. But you know, if they do end up picking one, potentially 2 players in this draft, then that opens up the questions of, you know, what are they going to do with, I would assume it's potentially, you know, the younger guys that could be on the move, but you don't want to move on too quick. Topic, we haven't even seen him play yet. I think AJ Mitchell is a guy that can be a very good player in the league. Dylan Jones, I think Ousmane Dieng is on the move. I don't think he's developed the way they've wanted to, so I think that's one roster spot, at least one that they'll have open next year. But yeah, I hope they get a top pick because that opens up whether they want to trade or pick. That opens up a world of possibilities for them. So yeah, 7, 8, or 9, baby.
So in the event, let's say the Thunder get pick 7 here, or the Sixers get pick 7 and it goes to the Thunder. I mean, this is obviously thinking really far out here, but let's say the Thunder lose this series to the Nuggets.
Sure.
Would you maybe be open to seeing both of these first-round picks be traded this year? Maybe you dive into some other draft picks in the future. You trade a couple players on your roster now, and you go, and the Thunder make a blockbuster trade to bring in another superstar to pair along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't want to say that's not at all blowing things up, but it is definitely maybe pivoting in a different direction.
I think I would be open to it depending on who the guy is. I think, you know, I've seen a lot of people talk about Giannis, which is interesting. I don't think he fits necessarily their offense and how they want to play offensively. I would like to see them get, if they're going to get a guy, get a couple of shooters or one big shooter. I don't know who that would be, like star wise. So maybe it's more of a smaller move than I don't see the Thunder making like a huge blockbuster move, even though they have the assets to do it. But I could potentially see them making, you know, a bit of a smaller move with some of their assets, or maybe move up in the draft and find a guy that they think fits, you know, not all the way up, but move up a little bit and get a guy that they feel like could be that whole filler for them, for lack of a better term, I guess.
A really nice addition to the Thunder, I think. Which I do think that Gon Knippel is your next kind of 3-and-D guy that everyone wants to have on their team. That just everyone can have on their team. He's not necessarily a guy that fits in a system. I mean, I think he's the kind of guy that fits in any system, and I think whoever picks him, I imagine he will be a top 7 pick in this draft. I think whoever gets him is going to have a very good player that, I mean, is with them forever. And I think that if he goes to a contender, I mean, that's very clearly a steal almost if a team can get in there. And I just don't know. I don't know who, and I don't know. I don't really see any
Yeah.
of these teams in a position to really make a trade back. Obviously, there have already been trades. Houston, San Antonio, there with Atlanta. I believe that the Kings lose this pick if it's outside of the top 12 and it goes to Atlanta, who lost their first round pick to San Antonio. So there's a lot to happen here. It's not just in this, like you said, with the Thunder being a top 6 pick. It's not just there. I mean, there are things towards the bottom of this lottery here that are going to affect everything. Atlanta without a first round pick this year, I believe. Am I right on that?
It appears
I
that way. I'm not sure if they have any like later. Well, they wouldn't have any later unless they. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they do.
Yeah. Well, I guess the Cavs. Do you think they have the Cavs first round pick in the DeAndre Hunter trade?
Potentially, I don't remember what that deal was.
I think they do actually. I'm fairly confident they have that pick. But yeah, I'm intrigued by this. I am intrigued by this because I don't think Sacramento is going to get in the top 12. I don't think
Sacramento.
So they have pick.
It's a team that
The Hawks. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just.
No, you go ahead.
They had one good year, and Sacramento. I just don't see where they're going at this point. Maybe they add a nice player here, but I don't know, man.
I mean, you get rid of Fox. I mean, what do you have? You've got DeMar. You've got Domantas Sabonis. That's just not. I don't know. I don't see that being a future there. If you lose this lottery pick, it was all for nothing. Atlanta, by the way, we get back to Sacramento in a moment. Atlanta, by the way, they have pick 22 via Los Angeles, the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they had another pick later on here. They do not. So they'll have pick 22 regardless with potential. They get in the lottery tonight, depending on where Sacramento's at. Yahoo Sports is projecting. Now, this is all projections here. I don't know where they were getting these from, but yeah, Zach LaVine's also there in Sacramento. But still,
Zach LaVine.
I feel like that
not a great
fits
player.
right into the point.
He puts up numbers. No. He puts up numbers, but like I don't know.
Where has it ever won? It's never. He's never been a winning player. I mean, Minnesota got better without him. The Bulls kind of almost got better without him. It looked like they were. I mean, they were playing pretty good basketball there at the end of the year. So maybe what Sacramento needs to do. Maybe they just need to get rid of Zach LaVine, and things will turn up for them a little bit. I don't know. I mean, how far are we out here of this? It's almost 6:15 here. This thing was supposed to start at 6 o'clock.
It should be getting relatively close. We're going through the numbers right now, so should be. Whenever you see the man come out with the briefcase, who looks like he looks like Secret Service, I'd like to know how much that guy gets paid to do this. When you see him come out, that's when you know it's game time.
I'm just now at.
Here we go. We got the
for number 1 pick graphic.
Okay, I got you. We're going through the representatives, so we're pretty close now. Sam Presti's there.
So,
dog.
There you go. Nolan, by the way, dude, how's that Cavaliers pick working out for you right now? What's up with that? I heard disrespect, and that's all right. Yeah, I'm looking at Keon Ellis right now. I'm looking at Matas Buzelis right now.
See, I don't know if these guys already, because Sam Presti was there and he was in the room whenever they drew. So I'm assuming all the representatives were in the room. So like, I'm assuming, I don't know, but how do you, if you have the number 1 pick, how are you not up there like giving it away?
Does not look like they have the number 1 pick.
I'm trying to read these reactions here and see.
Right. It's definitely not the Rockets. If I had.
Wait till you see that Spurs one. That was an interesting little.
Hakeem, what is happening? Oh, is he talking? Is he giving a spiel? Whatever.
Jared McCain, dog.
7. All right.
Zion's there. Zion's there. Trying to bring back,
he's
bring the luck of his. Trying to bring the 2019 draft lottery luck.
New head coach Mitch Johnson. Those motherfuckers did it. Oh, sorry. They got the number 1 pick, dude.
Just by going by reactions, it looked like he was hiding something. I didn't know these guys were talking. I gotta turn the volume on.
Oh no, Jared McCain. Oh, Thunder Nation. We are back. Zion, they did not get the number 1 pick, or they did get the number 1 pick, and Zion knows he's about to get traded. Now that
was something I was going to talk to you
that?
when we were going through that too. Is like, do you trade Zion if you get number 1? I think you definitely look into it.
Yeah, I mean, because you could probably get a bunch of picks.
They don't have the guy with the
a player or
briefcase, dude.
two.
I thought they came out with a briefcase. Maybe I'm tripping. All right, I think I'm ahead of you a little bit, so I'll try to hold my reactions back.
Ashley Smith. I hope the Jazz got this pick. All right, let's get some volume going here. Okay, so Leon Smith is the only man in this ballroom that knows results.
Really? Okay. So, well, that makes sense because
Okay. So Spurs at 14.
Yep.
That's expected.
I'm like 3 picks ahead of you.
Hawks. All right, dude.
Sorry.
So Sacramento's keeping that pick then? No. Hawks
no.
get it. Hawks get it. Okay, I got it.
1 through 12.
Bulls. Okay, that was expected.
All right, we're in Philadelphia OKC range here.
Portland dropped back a spot.
Oh. Wait, what did they just say?
I don't know. I know that Dallas and at least for my sake, Dallas and Portland.
Damn it.
Raptors. Oh my goodness, Dallas.
Yeah, dude, Dallas jumped to the top 4.
Wait, how?
I don't know.
How does that work?
I don't know how they.
Well, hold on a minute here.
I don't know how they figure out but like once you get so many teams, like they know, like, oh boy.
There's no way Dallas gets 1. The Pelicans? Oh no. They fall to 7. So the Thunder do not get
Nope.
that draft pick
there.
then.
So
Wizards at 6?
So
What is this talk?
the 2 teams.
Don't let this be Utah. Who's picking 5th? Hold on. Tell me.
It's coming. Don't worry about it.
What?
The 2 teams that I said at the top that deserved it most, not even close. Don't even have a chance.
Oh my goodness. So let me get this straight. The Utah Jazz and Washington Wizards want to combine the 35 games to pick 5th and 6th.
Welcome to the draft lottery, baby.
The Dallas Mavericks, who were 4 games under 500. The Sixers, whatever, but it's the Sixers. Who else is alive? The Hornets and who?
The Sixers are going to get the number 1 pick, dude. The Sixers, Hornets,
That's a bunch of the
Sixers,
Spurs.
Hornets,
It was the
Mavs.
Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs.
This is a horse. This is terrible. Are we serious?
Hey, if you want to tank, be like a play-in team. So if you want a number 1 pick, just be a play-in team. Wow.
All right.
Okay.
We have to be drawing these live. These have to be
I'm
drawn live because there's no way that Dallas. You know what, man?
all right. We've got 4 teams now, so it's. I need it to be Charlotte. I need this to be Charlotte. That gets the number 1 pick. I don't want it to be anybody else.
At this point, like if it's the Spurs, I don't really care.
The Spurs is interesting, at least.
If it's the Mavericks, I also don't really care because I just don't. If it's the Hornets, I don't really care because it's the Hornets and they will find a way to screw it up. If it's the 76ers,
I think Sixers is dead last
dude,
as of teams in the top 4 I want it to be. Teams period I want it to be.
I might need to pull this up on my laptop here so I can catch up. So I'm not as far behind.
Yeah, that might be why, because I'm watching on my computer.
Unbelievable what has just transpired here, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely unbelievable.
Bulls fans are not happy on my timeline.
If the Sixers get the first pick, do they trade Embiid? That was something I was kind of thinking about, Adam. I can't even lie to you.
I think you definitely consider it,
and it would make the team better.
But here's something to think about too. How many teams? So you're gonna have teams apprehensive about it already because of how little he's played. So I think you're not going to be able to, if you want to move him, you're not going to be able, the price isn't going to be like what you would expect for a dude who won MVP, 3 years ago, I think?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What have I just witnessed?
But yeah, I think you look into trading Embiid if you get number 1 for sure. Get off of that contract. He never plays. Yeah, you absolutely. If you can do that, and honestly, the Sixers may not even want to take a whole lot. If they have an opportunity to get off that contract, I think they're taking it.
Yeah. Because I mean that alone helps you out a ton. You know, Philadelphia, it's an attractive place to go play. I mean, it is by no means Charlotte.
I think if you're Cooper Flagg, that's looking at it from the Cooper Flagg perspective, like. That's one of the places you probably want to go because it's at least a decent team when they're healthy.
Hear me out. Something I just thought of here. You're telling me that Michael Jordan gets announced to NBA and NBC and the Charlotte Hornets are...
Even though he doesn't own them anymore, but yeah, I mean, might be some tomfoolery there. Probably not.
You know? My laptop's a little bit ahead, but I can only see half the screen because I want to be able to see you as well.
Sure.
So that's kind of where we're at here. I'm hoping that maybe it's on the left side of the screen still.
I think.
Or at least I can.
Man, I really don't want the Mavericks to get it either.
No, after everything they've done, they don't deserve it.
Spurs.
Have you seen any picks revealed yet?
No, I haven't seen any yet. They're about to, like, in a couple seconds here for me.
I'm looking at Charlotte. It's panned over to Jared McCain. It's panning over to
here we go.
San Antonio. If it's Charlotte, dude. If it's Charlotte, dude, there's no way. Are we dead ass? The Spurs are gonna have Wemby and they're gonna have Cooper Flagg. No way. Get the overall pick after trading the second greatest player in franchise history.
The basketball gods just saved Nico Harrison's life. Are you kidding me?
these live. We dead ass have to start doing these live. We got to start. We have to start doing these live. We have to start doing these live. There's no way that just happened. The 4th longest odds ever.
Are you kidding me? I mean, that's a good spot. I mean, Cooper Flag, that's a good spot for you, but
Wow.
man, the Mavericks.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Top 3 is
The
Mavericks,
Hornets-
Spurs,
Oh my
and then Sixers.
Mavericks, Spurs, and Sixers have the top 3 overall picks in this draft.
Wow.
I don't know the voodoo magic that's going on behind the scenes. I don't want any part of it. But my goodness, that
Dude,
was unbelievable.
that's- Oh my gosh, dude. He literally won the lottery to save his job. Like,
Is that the first time that that's ever happened? There's no way that that's ever happened before. That someone made absolutely the worst trade in
No, it has
franchise and
happened
league's
before
history.
because nobody makes that trade.
How are the Spurs? They have not been a terrible basketball. They won 34 games this last year. They have picked number 1 and number 2 in the last 3 years.
Wow, dude. Oh my god. I can't believe them. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Here I thought the Thunder Mavericks rivalry was over and they're going to be good again.
I saw that tweet
Granted-
this morning of someone saying,
Go ahead.
wow. I saw that tweet this morning of someone saying, oh, well, what if Nico Harrison gets the number 1 overall pick? And I thought, yeah, right. With your 1.8% chance, right. I'm speechless.
I can't believe it, dude. I can't believe it. Oh, man.
I mean, if you really thought they were going to let Cooper Flag rot in Charlotte for the next 4 years, you were wrong.
I
If
mean,
you thought they were
sure,
going to let him
but
rot in Washington,
if you're the NBA, you'd like him to go to one of those teams so you have another good team. Or at least decent team for next year. Wow.
unbelievable.
I'm stunned.
I am pretty shocked here.
I think that's
happening?
yeah, I think
What if
that's
Nico Harrison? What if he loses his job again? He's had it's like the TikTok memes where I'm like, where the genie presents a for another beer.
Yeah.
That's what Nico Harrison's about to do with the number 1 overall pick. He's gonna take. He's
Imagine
gonna
he
take.
traded that dude. That
Derek
would be insane. No way he trades it, right?
He's gonna trade it to Lakers, dude. Dalton
he
Knecht and-
forgot to ask for Austin Reeves. He's going to trade it to them for Austin Reeves. Wow.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I much have than Spurs or definitely Sixers.
I'm glad Sixers
But
didn't
the
get it.
Philadelphia 76ers are picking 3rd. That's not good. I don't think the Sixers picking 3rd is all that crazy.
No,
You know, they jumped
they
2
had a pretty
spots.
bad year. Yeah, they had a pretty bad year.
But you're telling me that the Spurs are picking 2 and the Mavericks are picking 1? And they've got pieces there in Dallas. This is not like
that's
this is not a
from Cooper Flag's perspective. This might be the best possible outcome.
You get to play alongside Anthony Davis, probably for 12 games because he'll get hurt. Kyrie Irving will come back probably, late in the March.
I'm not sure how long he's out, but playing with Kyrie Irving, that's gonna make Cooper Flag that much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of, Philadelphia would have been a nice spot for him, like from his perspective, but there's still that unknown of Joel and just bad voodoo there. So I think Dallas was probably from his perspective, probably the best place to go, and that's what happened. Wow.
I'm trying to look how much cap space the Mavericks have. Well, they're gonna have.
They might be.
Oh, they're paying 192 million. They're gonna have. Oh my goodness.
Wow. I don't think they.
That's
I don't think they do.
Yeah,
Nah,
Washington.
never mind.
Gaffer. No, they don't have a ton. They've got pretty much everyone under contract, but oh my goodness.
Wow. Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and Cooper Flag. Have fun with that.
Oh my god.
Have fun with that, dude.
Yeah, you have fun with that, dude.
Trade away.
You have fun with that.
Trade away Luka Doncic, and replace him with Cooper Flag.
They blew it up. That's blowing it up. That's blowing it up, in my opinion. That is, to me, that is saying, you know what? And I'm not saying I agree with this at all because but that's to me, that's saying, you know what? We don't like what we have here. We want to start over. And you somehow, oh my goodness, despite being in the play-in, despite winning 39 games last season, you have got the number 1 overall pick, and you're going to get Cooper Flag. I never, ever, you know what? I felt bad for Mavericks fans. I'll tell you that. I felt bad for Mavericks fans. I don't feel bad for them anymore. I don't feel bad for them at all anymore.
I think that's the quickest rebuild
I'm
ever.
glad Luka got traded. I'm glad Luka got traded. I hope he goes. Oh my goodness.
I guess it wasn't really like a full rebuild, but kind of quickest.
It was
I don't
the
know what you wanna
direction
call
of
it.
a rebuild.
Yeah, it kind of was because, I mean, I think the Mavericks were still going to be a good team, but you drastically shrink your window. But guess what? It's wide open again now.
I never, ever, ever want to hear a Mavericks fan complain. This right here, I was giving a Mavericks a get out of jail free card to complain forever. Never again. Never again. If anyone ever brings up the Luka trade to me ever again, I'm going to say, yeah, what happened 3 months later? You got Cooper freaking Flag. I don't know, man. That's unbelievable what I just watched.
All right, let's revisit it then. Is it still the worst trade in NBA history?
Yeah, it is. Because you still, well, I guess you still probably wouldn't have been here because you probably would have had a better spot in the playoffs.
Because I think now we'll just assume that Kyrie still goes down. But do you think they have a better chance with a solo Luka versus a solo AD?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
they do have a better chance with solo Luka versus solo AD.
I think they do too.
100%.
So let's say they win.
100%.
They at least get into the playoffs. I mean, it's a bunch of hypotheticals here, but
yeah, they would have definitely made it in the play. They'd have been a 7 seed, probably 6 seed, maybe not 6 seed, but they'd have been 7 seed. They'd have got in. They wouldn't have been.
that's another. Well, yeah, that's another aspect of it too, because you don't trade that trade doesn't happen. You don't have Anthony Davis. He doesn't get hurt, so you have Kyrie and Luka for the rest of the year. So they're probably not even in the
And they're in
plan.
that roster.
They're probably not even in the plan.
Yeah, I was thinking 6 seed might have been overshooting it, but now that I'm really thinking about it, might have been undershooting it. I mean, unbelievable what I just watched.
So maybe, no, it was the worst trade. He got lucky, dude. He got so lucky, dude. He got so lucky.
He got so lucky, and it saved his job. And I tell you what, I don't think he's out of the woods yet because I think he's a little stupid. I think he's a little crazy.
I mean,
and
you make a trade like that, there's something going on there.
There's some fishy shit going on here.
Maybe.
No one just out of the blue, no information, no signs, just trades Luka Doncic, your franchise player, the second most beloved player in your franchise's history, the second best player in your franchise's history, out of the blue, on a dime after going to the finals, and then you lay on the number
25 years old. 25 years old. And you only get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and I think someone else maybe was thrown in that. You don't even get like an Austin Reeves or
That was his humiliation ritual, dude. That was his humiliation ritual.
well, it worked. Hashtag
They
it worked.
sacrificed. They made a sacrifice. Adam Silver said, "Listen, dude, that's what it was. Adam Silver made him do it. They were right all along. Adam Silver made him do it. They said, listen, you trade Luka to Los Angeles, we'll give you Cooper Flag. Everyone wins. I hate this league.
Potentially. I like to err on the side of I think he just got really lucky, but yeah, let's start pulling the ping pong balls on camera just to diffuse any of these allegations.
Yeah. Because this is 2 in the last 3 years. Victor went to the Spurs. That was fishy. Not as fishy as this. Wow. All right. I think we go watch these games. We'll be live tonight after the Timberwolves game. We will probably, I'm sure, dive in on this a little bit. We're gonna have a video coming out tomorrow, going in depth on this a little bit. I think we need to let things settle down a moment though before we can objectively talk about the other
sleep
stuff.
on it a
But
little
my
bit.
goodness, what did we just watch?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
I'm stunned. I'm still stunned. I can't believe that actually happened.
Wow. All right. Thank everyone for watching here. Be back here tonight around, I would say, probably 11 Central Time. Maybe a little later, 11:15, 11:30. Jeez, that's a late night. But here for the live stream after these games are played tonight. Boston and Minnesota, is that who you're taking tonight?
Yeah, I like Boston and Minnie.
We'll see how it plays out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Been